You put because I help them. Good morning, dear students. You are welcome to our online class. Hope you have heard the name of great scientist Louis Pasteur. Every now and then, world undergoes so many difficulties like health and hygienics, lifestyle. As right now, we are facing a huge problem. Wherever you are in the world, you are troubled by virus. Wherever you are, though you finding yourself very comfortable at home, you have a doubt, don't know when do I get infected by this virus, when do I get health problem, and what is the solution? Yes, this is what the biggest thing what is going on. This. So you can think, try to take out your own ways. You have your own natural ways of protecting yourself. Many a times we suggest each and everyone to wear mask. Keep your hands hygienic, keep on washing them with soaps and any other thing is used to wash, or you are often suggested to use sanitizers. There are so many ways. But still, across the globe, wherever you go, you come across people having this difficulty. We are not able to, for the last 1 year almost, we are not able to walk freely. We are not able to mix up with others. Now, when you see your close friends, you feel like hugging them. You cannot, because even small children, when they go to attend some functions and all, their family functions, children have become so much aware that they tell their elders, please don't touch me, it's corona time, you can kiss me or you can hug me later, not now. So what's the problem? What has threatened us? In the same manner, across the globe, 100 years before, 200 years before, 300 years before, centuries before, people have often had this kind of problems. For the last 40-45 years, most probably, we did not face any difficulties of this kind after 1972 drought. ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಭೀಕರ ಬರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ. After that incident, this generation, we did not come across, we did not have problems like that, and corona has taught a great lesson. We are all so much worried that when do I come out of this? What can be the solution to this? What can be the medicine? Now, how eagerly we are thinking. Spanish flu has put people in problem for almost 4 years. Just 100 years before. Mask is not a new concept. Already in European society, 100 years before, they have tried all these techniques. Every now and then, as it is said, history repeats. Whatever had happened earlier, that will happen again. Now, there are these kind of pandemics have always put humanity in trouble, but man, you know it by nature, is very challenging. He will not accept defeat so easily. He will keep on struggle and struggle. Man's struggle against nature is a continuous one. He will struggle and come out with the solution. Some days it will go on, and again after some more years there will be one more problem. Every day there will be one or the other natural calamities. No, one or the other problem will be there. His fight will go on and he will come out. This coronavirus may put him in problem for a year or two, but later there will be some drug for it, some vaccine for it, and solution will be there. So likewise, what happened when Louis Pasteur was living? Now, most of the times, this is my personal belief. I'm not going to impose it on anybody. These scientists have put their life at risk. You can give example of so many great people. Like it may be Louis Pasteur, or the lady who found radium, Marie Curie, or any other, the man who has given us this current, light, or you can take example of radio, you can take example of TV. No, you can take example of many other great scientists who have given us so many drugs so that we can lead our life very comfortable. No, these people have worked on it. These people have meditated. So then they have helped. Their contributions have helped. Their achievements, their discoveries have helped mankind to go on very smoothly. So here you read, on the field of battle in one of his campaigns, Napoleon decorated for bravery a certain tanner named Pasteur. This brave soldier had an equally brave son, Louis Pasteur, born 7 years after Waterloo. He was not a soldier, but he was a fighter. Here, you know, this Waterloo is a war fought between French and English. Who has won, who lost, that's a different thing. This was a war fought between French and English. Here in this war, Louis Pasteur's father was a tanner. Tanner is a person who converts leather, no, animal skin into leather. He would work on it. You may ask me, what is the work of a tanner there in war? What is the work of a cook? No, everyone has his own role to play. No, when you go on watching Mahabharata serial on TV, you just see all the soldiers, brave men fighting and killing one another. But there is a role of cook. At the end of the day, in the evening, when they go back to their tents, who had given them food? To that huge military, to that huge army, even they have their own role to play. Nurse has her own role to play, his own role to play. Doctors have their own role to play. Cooks have, all other people, channers have their own play. Everyone, whoever is needed, carpenters have their own role to play then. Now, everyone contributed greatly, so it was possible for them to fight. In the same manner here, Louis Pasteur's father was a tanner, and Napoleon, hope you might have heard the name of great warrior Napoleon. Napoleon's name cannot be forgotten in European history. Napoleon was a great warrior, and the man who had become Emperor of France. Now, how Hitler's role cannot be forgotten. Hitler, how he had become Chancellor of Germany. Napoleon had become, Emperor of France. He was son of a stable man. Stable man ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕುದುರೆ ಕಟ್ಟ ಜಾಗ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ರಿ ಅದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತಿದ್ದ. ಅವ್ರ ಮಗ ಇವ Napoleon. Now his achievements are equal to the great person, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who I cannot dare to say his name. Not dare, but out of respect, what we do? Whenever we take Shivaji's name, what we do? Looking at his great achievement, we cannot say only Shivaji. We say Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. When you look at Akbar, looking at his achievement, I cannot dare to say only Akbar. I say Akbar the Great. Yes, in the same manner, this person's contribution is so great. And let me tell you, Napoleon, when Napoleon was ruling France, here was another great person, who? Tipu Sultan in India. What Tipu Sultan does then, when there was the sort of war which had taken place between Tipu Sultan and the English here in India, what Tipu Sultan does to send them out, to send British out of India, Tipu Sultan takes help of Napoleon. Napoleon had sent his army to India. Army was about to reach, but British have come to know, and Napoleon was stopped there itself. He could not reach India. If Napoleon was going to reach India. If Napoleon was successfully going to help Tipu Sultan could successfully throw them out then. British were going to be thrown out. If British were going to be thrown out, most probably we guess and we say that we might have been ruled by French. ಈಗೆಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕಲಿತೀವೋ in the same manner we could start learning French. That would have been a different story, but Napoleon was stopped by an admiral by name, if I remember it, there was a great man by name Nelson. You can check it if you want. Nelson was an expert. He stopped perfectly. He stopped Napoleon's army, and he was not able to reach India. So that was the story there. Yes, and this Napoleon, who would play as a small boy, he would go on playing as an army soldier. He would ask all his friends. He would ask all his friends to mix up with him, and he would command them. He would order them. That was sort of game they would play. And finally, looking at his interest in the army, looking at the way his son was playing, his father took him to army school where he studied and joined the army of France. He joined army of France as a soldier, and finally he ruled. What I believe, it is earth is the playground of poor boys, poor people. If they wish, they play anything they like. No rich man has achieved anything. All the people, those who have come up, they have come up being nothing. They were nowhere, but still they have achieved this greatness. Even you look at Hitler's story also. Hitler wanted to be a painter, a cartoonist, but finally he had become Chancellor of Germany. So let me tell you what made me to tell you all this. One, Waterloo War, and the other is Napoleon. Napoleon decorated for bravery a certain tanner by name Pasteur. This brave soldier had an equally brave son. Who had an equally brave son? This tanner. Pasteur was there in French army under Napoleon. He served French army very well, so that he was given certain medals and all in the war. After that, his son, Pasteur's son is Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur. Then after 7 years, Waterloo, he was not a soldier but was a fighter. Louis Pasteur did not fight in the war like his father, but still he fought. What did he fight? That's a thing. What did he fight? If not in the war, what is that he fought? See here, he fought disease. What is that disease? He devoted his life to the study of what we sometimes call germs. This germ, science teachers can explain it far better than what I do. He devoted his life to the study of what we sometimes call germs, which men of science call bacteria. Bacteria and germs. He contributed entire his life for that. A Greek word meaning little rods. Bacteria means little rods. Bacteria are vegetable organisms, little rod-shaped plants which exist in the air, water, and soil, and in the bodies of animals and plants. Some, but not all, are the causes of disease. Some convert matter into food for plants. There are so many bacteria. Our face, our body is covered with so many things, cells. Yes, we cannot say whatever we have that is bad. All the bacteria what we come across are not all bad. Some may cause you disease, some may convert food matter into food. For example, milk is converted into curd. Yes, there is certain bacteria which works. Yavadadari? Lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is the one which converts milk into curd. See that there are so many things. His contribution is for that bacteria. Louis Pasteur had a very busy and interesting life. He not only made some exciting discoveries about germs, but he was able to use his discoveries in very practical ways. There is a difference between a discovery and invention. Discover means already it is there. You remove the cover. Yes, that is discover. Invention, something new you have to go. See that, what is his contribution there? He worked hard in his laboratory with test tubes and all kinds of experiments, but nearly all the time he was working to help people who were suffering in some special way from diseases. His main contribution was that all the people, those who were struggling with life with so many diseases, like his work was that he dedicated entire his life in the laboratories with his test tubes, chemicals, and other so many things which could help. Among the people whom Pasteur was able to help were brewers, breeders of silkworms, and cow keepers, all of whom were trying to carry on important industries in France. Pasteur was always very proud of being able to help his country in this way. This great scientist, today we produce so many things. We produce so many things. Maybe that may be a drug or any food. When they are packed and passed to you, production date is today's. It's written. For example, you take Parle-G, you eat Parle-G, and there will be a write-up, small writing, best before 6 months, best before 3 months, 1 month, or whatever it is. Okay, when it is produced and passed on to you, transported to you, how could it be protected for almost 6 months? There is something called preservative. Certain preservatives are used. Okay, we use preservatives. How to use them? So there is certain technique. What has to be done? How it has to be done? So in what way this man's discovery, this man's invention is going to help people? Okay, it's not only disease, even industries were going to be helped by him. Industries. Which were the industries? Brewers. ಈ ಕುಡಿಯೋ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲಿಕ್ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ಸ್, ಅದು ಬೀರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಬಕೆಟ್ ಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ಬೀರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ತುಂಬಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಮಂದಿ ಕುಡಿದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ರೋಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎವರ್. Yes, how it has to be done, how it has to be prepared, what is the right process for preparing. There are so many medicines, what is the right process of preparing them? And even here he said these were the people whom he helped: brewers, breeders of silkworms. Silkworm ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ರಿ, ರೇಷ್ಮೆ ಹುಳು ಸಾಕಾಣಿಕೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೌ ಕೀಪರ್ಸ್, ಇನ್ ವಾಟ್ ವೇ ಹಿ ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಡ್ ಕೌ ಕೀಪರ್ಸ್, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಸಹಾಯ ಆಯ್ತು? Then all of whom were trying to carry on important industry. How cow keepers can carry industry, you tell me? ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇನು ಕೆಲಸ ಆದ್ರೆ ಡೈರಿ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್, ಹಾಲು ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಮೊಸರು ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ತುಪ್ಪ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ಬೇಕು. So these are the things that could help people, and that has to be supplied properly to everybody. So his contribution is so great here. Louis Pasteur, born in a little French country town, was interested in chemistry when he was very young. There are so many basic fundamental science, chemistry, physics, biology. There are so many, mathematics is there, other branches are there. Yes. And today what happens, you look at your child, you know it very well that my child, I know it very well that my child has interest in this. What I do? I don't accept it. I don't accept it. Money yaro hinge ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, one elephant, one ant, one rabbit. Tell me some name of some animals. Rabbit, crocodile, ಇಂಥವೇನೋ ಒಂದು 5-6 ನಿಲ್ಸರು. one cartoon. Yes, fish is also there. And give a test. Those who swim fast will be given gold medal. Yes, see that fish is an expert and it does in swimming. Yes, whereas elephant may not be able to do it. You ask, those who climb the tree faster will be given a gold medal at the end. So what does it mean? Today's education is something like this. You straight away neglect the child's ability to do something. You straight away neglect it and ask them to do something else. How an elephant will not be able to swim faster than the fish, how a fish will not be able to climb the tree faster than a monkey, how monkey will not be able to do the work of other animal faster than, look at their internal skill, look at their inner skill, what they are expert in, and accordingly you give them. You give them time to grow up. You make them space. You give them room to groom themselves. You train them in that particular field so that they can become experts. Naturally, their talent will be curbed. They'll not be able to do anything better. And often we keep on insulting a child. You are not able to do it, not able to do it, not able to do it. Then he will never be able to do anything. But then, looking at the interest what he had a lot of interest in chemistry. Many a times his father had come, blaming that you people have not given a lot of scope to my child. And he is capable of making so many things. Boy takes a lot of interest in this kind of experiments. He has a lot of interest. I tell you later. Louis Pasteur, born in a little French country town, was interested in chemistry when he was very young. After studying hard in Paris and showing a great promise, after studying hard in Paris and showing a great promise, Hingandre, he proved his ability and scored good marks. He began to teach and lecture as professor in chemistry. After his learning is over, after getting the necessary degrees, he became a professor in chemistry. He started his career as a professor at Strasbourg in Alsace, and he married a wife who was always to be his closest companion and assistant. I never stop myself cutting a joke here. Whenever it's a offline class, I say he married a wife. He married a wife, then who proved to be his very closest companion. Nodrini, that's a good pair. Whatever her husband had interest in, she had a lot of interest in the same thing. Together they worked it. Pasteur was deeply interested in all the new experiments that were being made in chemistry and decided to solve some of the difficult problems that were worrying chemists and other scientists. Sometimes he used to sit for hours, quite silent and motionless, thinking hard about one of his difficulties. He would always take one problem in his mind. He would always go on thinking and thinking and thinking. And he worried about the problems existing in those days. Disease is a social problem, madam. Disease is a social problem. Today we have this coronavirus problem. It is a social issue. You cannot keep yourself, you cannot keep it away from your society. Whatever problem you have, that is a social problem. In larger scale, if people are going to have same thing, in one or the other, problems are different. Yes, your problem is different, your problem is different, my problem is different, his problem is different. But one or the other way, problem is a problem. Is it? Problem is a problem. Then what he does, whether he has problem with or any other, sorry, so there were so many problems. What he does, all the problems which were troubling chemists, then he worked on it. Then he found this the easiest way to solve a problem, and when he thought of a solution, his kind, tired looking face would brighten with pleasure and excitement, and he would rush around to tell his discovery to his wife and others who were helping him. See that the greatest quality of Louis Pasteur is it. this. Whenever he succeeded in his problem, he got a solution, he would immediately get up with a great excitement, great pleasure, happiness on his face. He would share that message with everybody, whether it is his wife or any other person who helped him in the laboratory. He would share with everybody. Then in 1854, Pasteur was appointed head of a college of science at Lille, a busy manufacturing town in the northeast of France. Where is Lille? Lille is a place. This is a busy manufacturing town. What is a manufacturing town? Like as you have Mumbai, Pune, whatever you want, that is produced there, manufactured there. Anything that your life requires today, anything that you require, that is produced in those cities. Such kind of city was Lille in France, and that is located in northeast of France. He was pleased about this because he always felt that trades and industries could be helped very much by the researchers of men of science. His chance to be useful soon came. He was so happy to be there in Lille because he would always go on making one or the other researches, and he personally believed that men of science must be there with industries so that they can help them. If industries come up, large number of industries come up, what happens? Usually, if there is a big, so this area, you know, Shabad Wadi, there are so many cement manufacturing companies. What it will help? It will help the people, those who are living in that area. They get employment, they get a monthly salary, their lifestyles will be good. But we often fail to use them for our social cause. That's a different thing. So he believed what he believed has become right in his life. He stayed in Lille and he kept on helping the industries. Pasteur, as a young chemist, had always been interested in the problems of why and how living things decay, why milk turns sour, why meat goes bad, why wine ferments. He started to give some lectures in Lille on fermentation. Fermentation ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Fermentation ಅಂದ್ರೆ there are so many of these kinds. He went on thinking. Today it has become very easy for us. Storing milk become very easy for us. Storing wine has become very easy for us. Storing food has become very easy for us. You have refrigerator, so many other things, and you are happy. Was it the same thing with the people, those who lived some 100 years before? No, never. Then what were the techniques used by them when there was no refrigerator, when there were people were not so much familiar with the preservatives and all? How did they produce and how did they market that? ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ರಿ. He started to give some lectures in Lille on fermentation. One of the chief industries in Lille was the manufacture of alcohol from beetroot. One industry was producing from beetroot, and he was fortunate in being able to carry out experiments in some of the breweries. Swatha Louis Pasteur himself went to that factory. He studied there the problem of the owner. See that when he has produced so much of money in producing alcohol and he is not able to produce good quality of alcohol, so what will happen? He will have a big loss. He will undergo huge loss. He will become a bankrupt. If an industrialist goes bankrupt, then what happens? His industry will be closed. Industry is closed, again that will have direct or indirect effect on society. Thousands together people lose their jobs. Then one manufacturer consulted Pasteur about his beer, which was turning out badly, and Pasteur, by helping this brewer, managed to discover all sorts of things that he did not know before about yeast. Actually, industry owner had come to Louis Pasteur to take help. He himself did not know that yeast has got some role to play there. He learned about yeast, then he helped him. Yeast is used to make beer foam and bread rise up a little. ಈಗ ಬಿಯರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಬೇಡ, ನೀವು ರವಿಚಂದ್ರನ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಐ ಬಿಲೀವ್ ಯುದ್ಧಕಾಂಡನೋ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಅದ, ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಒಂದು ಹಾಡು ಬರ್ತದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಏನಂತ, ಕುಡಿಯೋದೇ ನನ್ನ weakness, so something he will go on singing. Other beer bottle, he will shake and remove the cover, then it will foam up. Burugu jorai bartadi. Even you cold drinks irtavalla, when you open it, that will jump out for the tree. So why does it happen? It's all because of yeast. Pasteur became certain that yeast was alive, made up of tiny living cells. When these cells were healthy, the yeast acted well, but if they were diseased, the yeast and the beer went wrong. If yeast is living, that could keep beer very well. If it is dead one, then that would spoil the beer or bread. So he found it out. After a few years, Pasteur was made director of scientific studies at a famous college in Paris. Looking at all his achievements, one college has given him a chance and made him director there. He was still thinking about decay and yeast and germs, and one of the problems that he was trying to answer was this: do germs form from other germs, or do they just come out themselves? Yeah, when you look at so many ants at once in the corner of your house, there will be one or two. Within 5 minutes, you will come across huge number of ants. How do they come? From where do they come? Is the production so fast? From where do germs form themselves, or they have their mother and father? He would go on thinking. Then people like Pasteur believed that germs were carried in biochemistry or biochemistry that came in contact with them. Others believed in what they called spontaneous generation. They believed that germs had no parents but just occurred by themselves. So there was no perfect opinion about this. Whether do they come out of themselves or they have parents, what is it? Somewhere of this opinion and somewhere of this opinion. There was no firm one fixed opinion. Then Pasteur proved that he was right by a very simple and clever experiment. What Louis Pasteur believed, to prove that to the world, ಜನ ನಂಬಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ನಂಬೋಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ನಂಬೋಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಳ್ಳು ನಂಬೋಂಗ್ ಹೇಳೋದಲ್ರಿ. ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೂಫ್, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರೂಫ್. ಇದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. Then he put some soup into some bottles and then he boiled it in order to destroy any germs that might already be in the soup. Adranni haki kaasta idda. Then after that he heated and pulled out the neck of each bottle until it formed a long narrow neck with a big bend in the middle. A bottle kasi adar bottle neck uddu ಮಾಡಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ bend ಮಾಡಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು bend ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು nothing should enter inside or nothing should come out. In that manner he would pack the bottle. Then long narrow neck with a big bend in the middle. The soup remained there for a long time and it never went bad as it would have done if it had been standing in a bowl in the kitchen. You keep something in a bowl in your kitchen and that gets spoiled very soon. If it is packed and perfectly put, ಈಗ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಾಗ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ನೀವು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಇಂದನೂ ತರ್ತೀರಿ. How does it stand for a month and how the thing which you have prepared gets immediately spoiled? So this was not known to people. That said Pasteur is because there are no parent germs in the soup and they cannot reach it because the bend in the long tube will stop them. So he took one of the bottles and split a little of the soup down the tube so that it settled in the bend. The soup went bad. Our next time to prove how long it was in the bottle, very safe, it was safe. The day he broke it, opened it and took a little soup outside, that got spoiled. We often speak the dust traps. Well, this bend in the tube was a dust trap because the dust, which as we know may carry germs with it, could get as far as the bend, but no farther, and it settled there and infected the soup. Without cleaning, if the dust has got some bad things in it, it will spoil the soup. He proved it and shown to the people. Then this is only one of many hundreds of experiments which Pasteur made. Nine paragraphs are over. 10th one we will do afternoon or tomorrow.